Let's just jump right in. We're looking at one of the most radical and honestly highly controversial concepts in modern governance today, Prospera. It's a private, startup city dropped right onto the Caribbean island of Roatan in Honduras. In this explainer, we're going to unpack this whole bizarre reality by looking at it through two completely opposite lenses: the high-stakes, top-down venture capital world and the grassroots, everyday reality on the ground.
So the big question hanging over all of this is, what actually happens when Silicon Valley tries to build its very own sovereign city? Backed by tech billionaires, guys like Peter Thiel and Marc Andreessen, Prospera operates as a ZEED. That's a zone for employment and economic development. Basically, it means they run with an incredibly unusual amount of autonomy, totally separate from the traditional Honduran government.
And the legal differences here are literally day and night. Just to put it in perspective, mainland Honduras levies a 25% corporate tax. But inside Prospera, you're looking at a mere 1% tax on gross business income. But it's not just about saving on taxes. Companies sitting up shop in Prospera can literally cherry-pick their regulatory frameworks. They can adopt bits and pieces of industry rules from completely different countries. It is an absolutely unprecedented, custom-built legal landscape.
Part 1. Top-down innovation. Let's talk about Meet the Drapers.
Looking through that high-stakes venture capital lens, legendary investor Tim Draper set some massive expectations for this zone. When he traveled down there to film an episode of his show, he actually called Prospera the freedom capital of the world, and went as far as boldly predicting it'll be the next Dubai. He clearly sees this place as an absolute startup utopia, where total deregulation is just going to fuel explosive innovation.
And what's crucial to understand here is the sheer scale and global credibility that a TV show like this brings to the jurisdiction. Meet the Drapers is this wild blend of crowdfunding and VC, reaching a massive, audited audience of around 40 million viewers worldwide. You've got startups pitching for a cool $1 million first prize, and the show is actively highlighting innovators who are choosing the Prospera zone over your traditional tech hubs like Silicon Valley.
Let's look at the actual talent this kind of framework brings in. Take the company Blink, for example. Honduran entrepreneur Juan Mayan originally started this venture as a Bitcoin wallet over in neighboring El Salvador, kind of riding the wave of their 2021 Bitcoin law. But now, he's a finalist on the show, using Prospera's super flexible legal framework to scale his financial services right from his home country.
We're also seeing biotech pioneers flocking there to take advantage of the intense deregulation. The show featured startups like Muse Bio, who are utilizing the zone to distribute stem cells and commercialize gene therapies. One of the founders even mentioned they already have their first gene therapy on the market, pulling in five-figure revenue. They're completely bypassing the traditional bottlenecks and mountains of red tape you'd normally find in places like the US. And all of this excitement anchors around that staggering $1 million VC prize. It's the perfect representation of the macroeconomic heights of Prospera's corporate ambitions, right? It's a top-down influx of foreign capital specifically designed to spur this explosive growth and transform a Caribbean island into a global tech hub.
But those macroeconomic heights, that $1 million prize, that is a world away from the reality on the ground. $2,000. Keep that number in mind as we switch gears here.
Part 2. Grassroots reality. Enter Yes Theory and Sahi. So stepping entirely away from the billionaires, the guys from the YouTube channel Yes Theory visited Prospera to document the micro-level reality. And while they were exploring the island, they met Sahi. He's a local Roatan tour guide making about $30 a day, mostly scraping by on tourist tips. But Sahi has some serious entrepreneurial dreams of his own. He told the Yes Theory team that he needed exactly $1,500 to get his tour company registered inside the local port, which would let cruise ship tourists actually find him online.
The contrast here is just incredible. The Yes Theory guys ended up directly funding Sahi with a $2,000 gift to kickstart his grassroots business. They basically wanted to help him become the #1 tour guide entrepreneur on the island. And it's so perfectly juxtaposed that billion-dollar VC world we were just talking about with genuine, on-the-ground human connection, right? One model takes a highly produced $1 million TV pitch, and the other just takes a direct, uplifting $2,000 gift to completely change a guy's life.
Part 3. The Sovereign Backlash. Now, as Yes Theory documented their trip, they also uncovered some immense cultural friction surrounding the city. It's definitely not all sunshine. On one hand, you do have local praise. Prospera notes they've created over 3,000 new jobs, paying salaries well above the national average, and they're running free English schools. But literally, right next door, in the fishing village of Crawfish Rock, there is deep, palpable local fear. Residents are terrified about displacement, they're worried about the massive strain on their local public systems like roads, and frankly, a lot of them view this expanding autonomous zone as just a modern form of neo-colonialism.
When the Yes Theory team actually pressed Prospera's leadership on these critiques, they had a very specific defense ready to go. They argue that their autonomy is an absolutely necessary shield against deeply entrenched corruption. One representative flat out stated that in mainland Honduras, just starting a normal business usually requires paying off, quote, 15 different institutions, both formally and, under the table. So they frame Prospera as this vital, clean slate for local entrepreneurs to finally thrive.
Let's trace how this all escalated because the timeline is wild. The original ZED law was passed back in 2013 to attract foreign investment. By 2017, the Prospera Agreement was officially inked. But then the political winds in Honduras shifted, and they shifted hard. Fast forward to September 2024, and the Honduran Supreme Court declared these ZEDs completely unconstitutional. That ruling fundamentally challenges the city's actual legal right to even exist.
So that brings us to right now, and it is a massive existential threat. The Honduran government, currently led by President Xiomara Castro, has built widespread support for shutting the zone down entirely. They are actively trying to reclaim the state's sovereignty. And in response, well, Prospera has sparked an absolutely staggering $11 billion legal dispute. They are locked in an incredibly high-stakes battle over who truly has control. Which leaves us with one incredibly provocative question to chew on. Are private startup cities a legitimate, much-needed engine for economic prosperity? Or are they really just a modern form of neo-colonialism? We've seen the top-down wealth of Tim Draper's VC utopia, and we've seen the grassroots reality of locals like Sahi just trying to build their own piece of the pie. Who is the city truly for? And honestly, will it even survive the current backlash? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the systems shaping our world, and I'll catch you next time.